Eastern State Penitentiary. Rising like a monolithic fortress in the heart of Philadelphia, Eastern State Penitentiary was designed to be more than a prison. It was an experiment in human reform. Completed in 1829, the institution introduced a radical system of solitary confinement, a practice that would earn it infamy worldwide. Inmates were isolated in stone cells, their only connection to the outside world a narrow skylight known as the Eye of God. The intention was to inspire reflection and penitence, but for many it became a window into madness. Each cell was equipped with a single bed, a toilet, and a Bible. Meals were passed through small openings in the doors, and prisoners were forbidden from speaking or making any noise. Even during the 1 hour per day when they were allowed outside, they were hooded to prevent them from seeing or interacting with others. The silence was oppressive, and it didn't take long for many inmates to succumb to the psychological toll. Guards reported hearing strange, animalistic howls coming from the cells, as if the isolation had stripped the prisoners of their humanity. The prison was designed in a radial layout, with cell blocks branching out from a central rotunda. This design allowed guards to observe multiple corridors from one point. Despite this, there were countless stories of prisoners attempting to escape. One of the most infamous was a man named Slick Jimmy, who spent years digging a tunnel beneath his cell. Though he was caught before he could escape, his tunnel became the stuff of legend, and rumors circulated that he had used the cover of his escape attempt to smuggle contraband in and out of the prison walls. By the mid-1800s, Eastern State's solitary confinement system was abandoned due to its devastating effects on the inmates' mental health. The prison transitioned to a more traditional model of incarceration, but the haunting atmosphere lingered. Many guards and prisoners spoke of eerie occurrences. Cell doors would swing open and shut on their own, accompanied by a chilling sound of metal scraping against stone. Prisoners reported waking in the middle of the night to find shadowy figures standing at the foot of their beds. Paranormal phenomena became synonymous with Eastern State long before its closure. Guards patrolling the cell blocks after dark would hear disembodied footsteps echoing down empty corridors. One guard, nicknamed Iron Will for his stoic demeanor, famously quit after he claimed to have seen a man walk through a locked door in cell block 4. Others reported hearing whispers and laughter coming from cells that had been empty for years. Al Capone's time at Eastern State added another layer to its mystique. The infamous mobster was incarcerated in a relatively luxurious cell, complete with rugs, a desk, and a radio. Yet Capone's nights were far from peaceful. He often screamed in terror, begging for forgiveness from an unseen tormentor. Guards overheard him shouting about a man named James Clark, one of the victims of the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Capone's behavior grew so erratic that even the guards began to fear the malevolent force that seemed to plague him. After the prison closed in 1971, it quickly fell into disrepair. The decaying structure, with its crumbling walls and overgrown courtyards, became a magnet for urban explorers and paranormal investigators. Many who entered reported experiencing unexplained phenomena. Cold spots, shadowy figures, and disembodied voices were common. One particularly chilling encounter involved a group of tourists who claimed to see a figure in an old guard's uniform standing at the end of a corridor. When they approached, the figure vanished, leaving only a faint echo of footsteps behind. Restoration workers also encountered their share of horrors. One locksmith, hired to remove old locks during renovations, claimed to have felt a sudden bone-chilling coldness as he worked. He described seeing vivid images of disembodied faces, their expressions frozen in terror, flashing before his eyes. The experience left him so shaken that he abandoned his tools and refused to return. Cell Block 12 remains one of the most active areas of the prison. Visitors report hearing faint laughter, as if from a child, echoing down the corridor. Others claim to see fleeting shadows that disappear the moment they turn to look. In cell block 6, the atmosphere is said to be so oppressive that some visitors have fainted upon entering. The prison chapel, once a place of solace, has become a focal point for eerie activity. Tourists have captured EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, of what sounds like distorted chanting and prayers. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary is a historic site and museum, drawing thousands of visitors each year. Many come for its history, but just as many come for its ghosts. Guided tours often end with visitors sharing their own experiences of the unexplained. Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights phenomenon remains one of the most perplexing and well-documented UFO sightings in modern history. On the evening of March 13, 1997, as dusk settled over the Arizona skies, something extraordinary unfolded. Witnesses across Nevada, Arizona, and even northern Mexico reported seeing a massive V-shaped formation of lights moving silently through the sky. The sheer size of the object was unlike anything ever seen, with some estimating its wingspan to be over a mile wide. As it glided overhead, it blocked out the stars, leaving many to stand in awe and fear beneath its shadow. The event began near Henderson, Nevada, where a man reported seeing an enormous craft with 6 glowing lights. It moved southward, passing over Paulden, Arizona, where a former police officer saw the lights in a perfect V formation. As the object continued its journey, it was witnessed by thousands of people in Phoenix. They described the lights as amber orbs, evenly spaced and connected to what appeared to be a solid craft. Some claimed the object emitted a low humming sound, while others noted an eerie silence, as though it absorbed all sound around it. By the time the lights reached Phoenix, the sightings had intensified. Families gathered in their yards, pointing at the sky in disbelief. One witness, a retired pilot, remarked that the craft's movement defied the capabilities of any known aircraft. It moved slowly, almost deliberately, as though it wanted to be seen. Others reported feelings of calm and fascination, while some described an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the object carried an unnatural presence. Hours after the V-shaped craft disappeared, a second event occurred. A series of stationary lights appeared in a straight line over Phoenix. These lights hovered in the sky for several minutes before disappearing one by one. The military later claimed these lights were flares dropped during a training exercise at the Barry Goldwater Range. However, many witnesses rejected this explanation, pointing out that flares do not hover in a fixed formation or remain stationary for such a long time. Among those who witnessed the lights was then Governor Fife Symington. At the time, Symington held a press conference, bringing out an aide in an alien costume to mock the incident. Years later, he admitted he had seen the lights himself and described the craft as otherworldly. Symington's admission reignited interest in the event, with many questioning why he had dismissed it so casually at the time. Investigators pored over witness accounts, videos, and photographs, but the true nature of the Phoenix lights remains elusive. Some believe the lights were evidence of extraterrestrial visitation, while others suggest they were part of a top-secret military experiment. One theory posits that the craft was a massive prototype for a stealth blimp designed for reconnaissance. However, skeptics argue that no known technology could account for the craft's size, speed, and silence. Over the years, the Phoenix lights have inspired documentaries, books, and even movies. Ufologists continue to study the event, pointing to its consistency across thousands of witness testimonies. Many of these witnesses were credible individuals, including police officers, pilots, and military personnel. Their descriptions were strikingly similar, adding weight to the argument that the event was not a hoax or mass hysteria. In recent years, new details have emerged, including accounts from witnesses who were children at the time of the event. One woman recalled sitting on her father's shoulders, watching the lights with a mix of wonder and terror. Her father, a veteran pilot, whispered that whatever they were seeing was not from this world. Another witness, a truck driver, described pulling over on the highway as the lights passed directly overhead. He claimed the craft was so low that he could see its underside, which appeared smooth and metallic. Despite decades of speculation, the Phoenix Lights remain shrouded in mystery. Skeptics continue to argue for conventional explanations, while believers see the event as undeniable proof of extraterrestrial life. The event's enduring legacy lies not just in its mystery, but in its ability to unite thousands of people in their shared experience of the unknown. Whether it was an alien craft, advanced technology, or something else entirely, the Phoenix Lights left an indelible mark on those who witnessed it and sparked a fascination that continues to this day. The Curse of the Bell Witch. In 1817, John Bell and his family lived a peaceful life on their farm in Adams, Tennessee. The land was fertile, their home was sturdy, and their community respected them. However, their idyllic life began to crumble when a strange and sinister presence made itself known. At first, it was just faint tapping on the walls of their farmhouse, noises so soft that the family dismissed them as nothing more than rodents scurrying about. But soon, the tapping turned into pounding, loud enough to shake the walls. The activity grew more disturbing with each passing week. The family started hearing disembodied voices, faint at first, but growing clearer. At times, it sounded like a woman humming a lullaby. Other times, the voices mocked the family, laughing at their fear. The livestock on the farm began behaving erratically. Healthy animals would suddenly become sick, and some were found dead under bizarre circumstances, their bodies unmarked but their eyes wide with terror. Betsy Bell, the youngest daughter, was the first to experience physical attacks. She would wake up screaming, claiming that something unseen had yanked her hair or slapped her face. The scratches and bruises on her body were undeniable evidence of the attacks. John Bell tried to comfort her, but he himself began suffering strange ailments. He often felt a tightness in his throat, as if invisible hands were choking him, and he grew weaker by the day. The family's plight drew the attention of neighbors, who came to witness the strange events for themselves. What they saw left them terrified. Plates and utensils flew across the room with no one near them. Heavy furniture slid across the floor, seemingly of its own accord. One visitor claimed to see an apparition of a woman in a tattered dress standing at the foot of Betsy's bed. When he tried to approach, she vanished into thin air. The entity began identifying itself as Kate. It claimed to be the spirit of a local woman named Kate Batts, who had quarreled with John Bell over a land deal years earlier. Kate was rumored to have been a witch, and her death was shrouded in mystery. The spirit's hatred for John was palpable. It taunted him relentlessly, calling him Old Jack and threatening that it would kill him. As word spread, the Bell Witch became a sensation. Skeptics came to debunk the haunting, but many left as believers. The entity seemed to enjoy performing for an audience. It could recite Bible verses, sing hymns, and even mimic the voices of visitors. Some claimed it could predict the future. One man asked when he would die, and the spirit accurately foretold his death months later, down to the exact day and hour. Betsy Bell's life was particularly tormented. The spirit often warned her not to marry her fiancé, Joshua Gardner. When Betsy refused to end the engagement, the attacks on her became more violent. She would be slapped, pinched, and even thrown across the room. Fearing for her life, Betsy finally broke off the engagement, much to the spirit's satisfaction. The haunting reached its climax in December 1820, when when John Bell was found dead in his bed. A mysterious vial of dark liquid was discovered near his body. The spirit claimed it had poisoned him, boasting about how it had finally achieved its goal. To prove its power, the entity forced the family to give some of the liquid to their cat, which died instantly. With John Bell's death, the spirit's activity diminished, but did not cease entirely. Years later, Betsy married another man and moved away from the farm. The haunting seemed to follow her, albeit less violently. The Bell Witch continued to appear sporadically, often to taunt members of the family or those who dared to trespass on the old farm. The land itself gained a reputation for being cursed. Crops failed without explanation, and some farmers reported hearing whispers in the wind as they worked the fields. The Bell Witch Cave, a small cavern located near the original farm, became a focal point for the haunting. It was said to be the spirit's lair, and those who ventured inside often came out with chilling tales. Some reported seeing shadowy figures flitting through the darkness, while others heard guttural voices speaking in a language they could not understand. One explorer claimed to have felt a hand grab his ankle, pulling him to the ground, only to find no one there when he looked. To this day, the Bell Witch remains one of the most enduring and terrifying legends in American folklore. Paranormal investigators and thrill seekers continue to visit the site, hoping to catch a glimpse of the infamous spirit. Many leave with stories of their own, unexplained sounds, fleeting shadows, and a sense of being watched. Whether the Bell Witch was a poltergeist, a vengeful ghost, or something darker remains a mystery, but its legacy lives on, haunting the imaginations of all who hear its tale.
Thanks for watching. Come back soon for more dreaded whispers. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.